Okay, so I went and saw Godzilla War of the Monsters. Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is what the next one we call is War of the Monsters. So I went and saw the film. And I have to say up straight up right here, I am a Godzilla fan. I watched. Pretty sure I've seen every single Godzilla film. Pretty sure I've seen every one of them. I've owned several. So this is gonna be kind of biased. In a Godzilla fan sense. At the same time, it's like the same issues that were in the last movie are in this movie, which is really unfortunate. And there's some things that are better and some things that are way worse. Like, I don't understand. Like, we gave you the feedback of the first one. We want more Godzilla. We want a little less human stuff. I mean, I understand that it's a 2-hour film. You have to pack in some human stuff. But this movie is just, man, it's like a human subplot's just packed to the gills, and I hate it. I mean, I really hate it. It took me out, especially in like towards the third act. After like basically the way I would describe this film in a nutshell is it is a disaster film about the humans and dealing with the disasters with kaiju in the background, with monsters in the background. That's really all the film is, and I think anyone knows that most disaster films are not really that great, to be honest. It's just people living through situations they really wouldn't have lived through like several times. I'm pretty sure there's at least 12 times where characters would have died in this film, at least. The worst part is the first film, at least it had a payoff in the end, like a little bit. Like, they cut away from most of the fights, but they at least had a little bit at the end where stuff was going on. There's not one complete sequence in this whole thing. It's like Godzilla does something, the other monster does something, we cut away. Or we go to their feet or something falling from them rumbling, and it's showing all the humans running around from rubble and explosions, and it looks like a Die Hard movie. Like, Millie Bobby Brown's running, there's literally a boulder that falls from some, it's not a boulder, it's rubble, but it's like 5 times as big as she is, and it's like falls down the stairs that she's running, and it's just, I don't get it, man. I don't know who sat down and said, this is what we want, this is what the people probably want. I'm totally down with some of the setups they had. Like, I mean, there's a female character that's the mother. Her reasonings for what she's doing are, borderline insane. I mean, I get, but my thing is when you have someone that far off the rails, she's basically going to have not genocide, but a pretty big culling of humanity by waking up these monsters with a machine that speaks to them. That is what it is. It's some subplot thing, some reasoning why they're waking them up, how they're waking them up, whatever. There's some, I don't want to say terrorist organization, but some like purist organization that wants to just wake them up and do the same thing. The same motivations. The bad guys in the movie have the same motivations as the mom. The mom's basically in cahoots with the bad guys. Okay, that's the end all be all of that. Anyways. So the mom has some big speech in the middle of the movie, which was just stupid. I mean, like, explaining her reasonings, and it's the problem with that thing is that there's never like a conflict. It's never like this could be wrong or it could be right. It's they take a character, oh, we're doing this, and then once the bad guy thing happens, this is just a complete switch. Like, it's 0 to 100. The craziness is off the charts. Her reasonings are just stupid. It's just like, wow. Okay, well, I mean, I guess the concept of it makes sense, but it's like you have to, she decided once her son died because Godzilla came out that she's going to do something about it, and her doing something about it is let's kill billions and billions and billions of people, probably more than 3 billions, billions and billions and billions. You know what I mean? Like 6 billions of people, at least, at minimum 6 billion people. I don't get it, man. Like, why is this part of the subplot? And also the big thing happened on the first movie is like they felt like they had to inject Bryan Cranston because Breaking Bad was really popular at the time. I feel like in this film they did the same thing. They got Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, and they got 11 Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. It feels like they have in their Hollywood minds or whatever, we have to bring in these big actors. It's a good plan. But then it's like Bryan Cranston was like really good in the first movie, and then you killed him. It was like, I was literally sitting there and I was like, wait a second, I haven't seen him in any more of these trailers. I've seen all the stuff in the trailers about, it was right when it happened, right when it got shish kebabbed. It was over. I was like, oh, okay. And my wife was like, they're not gonna kill him, are they? I was like, he's dead. As soon as she looked over, she's like, they're not gonna kill him. I was like, he's fucking dead. He's gone. He's not coming back. So they feel like they have to inject these people, and like, I understand that. It's like, okay, well, I'll go watch the movies because it's got that character in it, or this is this actor. But you don't have to like the whole movie about him. You don't. You really don't. It's a Godzilla movie. I go to watch Godzilla for Godzilla. You know what I mean? That's it's like when we went to see Kong. Like, Kong had a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of Kong. But now looking back, I'm like, Kong's not even that bad of a movie. Like, for a monster movie now, you know what I mean? We're not talking about just the whole grand scheme of film. But Kong, I mean, there's a fight. There's people are there for a reason. You know, they're doing things. Like Samuel Jackson's stuff's a little questionable. But that's like one leader, and it's like a military guy. It's more understandable than this lady and this one group of people want to wake up all these monsters. And for some reason, they said in the film, Millie Bobby Brown knew. She knew. She said, I thought you were going to wake them up one at a time. We're going to have balance. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but if they were just going to wake them up, balance is still them destroying stuff, right? I mean, they would have to like evacuate if her plan. This is the holes in the plan, and it's like, I mean, it's getting a little too deep, I guess. It's like, hey, just watch the film, enjoy it. But I was literally sitting there, and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. You want to kill all these people or not? If you don't want to kill all these people, you have to destroy all that civilization. Just like San Francisco. I think it was San Francisco in the first film. But all after they're there, the radiation from the monsters makes everything grow. Life is super lush and all that stuff. I don't know what. Are you want to wake them up one at a time and then evacuate people so they don't get killed? I mean, there's still a lot of people and they gotta go somewhere. I mean, they're going to chop down the trees again and just rebuild stuff. I mean, somewhere, somehow. That's how it goes. The plan itself didn't make the most sense, okay? So, I will say this. It's really hard for me because it's like, damn. All I want is a really good fight. And it's like in the first film, you had Godzilla. Godzilla is like, okay, this is a spectacle film, but you're taking away all my spectacle. You're showing me an action disaster film with people, characters that I didn't pay the movie to see, I don't care about, and I frankly want to see off the screen. I want to see them die. I want to see them die and be off screen. Third act, they do something to right their wrongs, squish the fuck out of them, and let me watch the fight. I don't want to see them no more, especially the mom. The mom at the end, the kid gets the thing and tries to save the day and makes it out. Somehow there was something on. There's an intercom on, and we hear all their plans and, oh, this is what we're supposed to do and all this. Millie Bobby Brown's gonna go save the day. She knows how to do it. She's like 13. She knows how to do everything. She can do the acoustic. She knows how to do it. She goes to like the white, is it Red Sox or White Sox? Not a baseball fan. This is Alabama hat, not a Braves hat. So Millie Bobby Brown, she's got all the keys to the kingdom. She takes that thing. No one's watching it. All these military people, nobody's guarding her. Nobody's looking after the big. No one's looking at the thing you need the most, right? The most important thing that they have. No one's looking at it. No one. And she takes it in a bag and leaves. And no one saw it. No one. There's no cameras. No one knows. Whatever. You know, it's just, it seems like a bunch of brainless. It's like the plot points, they could have been done better. But then they just put these tropes. It's like the bad guys are stupid. You just do stuff to push the plot forward. Like, in any sense, no matter what. The dad, who is apparently a wildlife, I guess I would say biologist, I guess, because like he knows about the acoustics, he knows about all kinds of stuff about animals, predatory, pack mentality, feeding, territory, all that kind of stuff that goes into all the nature stuff, right? But for some reason, this dude is just like, he's got all the plans, man. Fucking these doors, they won't open. I'm gonna drop this machine. I'm gonna drop an osprey through it and break it. That way they get in here. Okay. There's just so many things where he's like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing this. I honestly felt like I was this one sub character that, like, he was a newer dorky guy he had a beard, and he was just like, the guy was like, he's like, I'm gonna find them. I'm leaving to go find them, and he's just like, okay. You don't know where they are, but good luck. You know, I felt like I was that character watching. I'm just like, why is this a point? I understand we've already covered it. You want to get your kid back, you know? Most of me talking is not gonna be about the monsters, and that's the issue. That's the issue. I think you've gotten the grasp. You know, I don't want to rail on it for 30 minutes, but there's a lot of just stupid stuff. Like, it's just, you know, and like I was saying about the mom, is like, the mom literally went from don't know much about her, no, she's a scientist, researching monsters, her son died. I guess her and her husband are divorced. Okay. The next thing that happens, she's working to get Mothra awake, calm her down, and then she goes ape shit. Like, just the female character goes ape shit. The mom just, you know, I'm gonna wake up all these monsters. I'm with this terrorist organization. We're gonna go do this and we're gonna go do that, and there's nothing you guys can do, and you gotta accept it. Go get a bunker. Go be safe, because that's what I'm doing. I've decided. Not discussing it. It's over. Then in the last bit, she's driving a Humvee away from everybody and drives to the stadium in the middle of all this crap. And for some reason, like, literally every single building's destroyed, but there's some way for this Humvee to just drive through. That's the worst thing to me. This is a pet peeve too. In these disaster films, when someone's driving a vehicle, there was so much rubble. There would be no clear roadway at all. You would be driving over bumpy stuff. Like, you'd be like slow. You wouldn't be gassing it. You'd be like slowly driving over stuff. You probably wouldn't be able to get through. Like, it's just, there's so much destruction. It's unreal how much is getting annihilated. I mean, there's 4 big monsters just tangoing, right? But I'm not really sure. They could have actually been dancing for all I know, because you don't see the fuckers. They're off the screen. It's like this. If you wanted to see everything that's going on behind me, all this cool stuff, but I'm right here. Oh my God, where's my daughter? My daughter, we gotta save her! That's basically how this fucking film is. God! All I want is to go watch a Godzilla movie. You can have your setup and have your little subplots, but at the end, just let them beat each other's ass. Just beating the shit out of each other. That's all I want to see. I just want to see people wailing on each other for like a solid 5 minutes straight. Give me 5 solid minutes of them just doing crazy shit. I mean, there's not like a single thing in this that I can remember. It's like a setup. Like, you know, it's like, I described it to my buddy. If you ever watch wrestling, it would be like building up a storyline for like half a year. At the end, we're going to WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year. And the guys come out. The story is there. The story is there to be told. They come out and they do 3 or 4 moves. They're big moves. And that's it. There's nothing in between. There's no jabbing, no punching, no struggles. Just some really cool singular moments. But there's not a fight at all. Like, I hate it. It pisses me off. All right, let's talk about some good things. Now that I've railed on it for about 15 minutes, I'm sorry. Okay. There's clearly someone on this project that is a huge Godzilla fan. There's the original Godzilla score. There's original Godzilla sounds. King Ghidorah, Rodan. I think Rodan. Rodan may be the only one that didn't have it. And then Mothra, there's classic sounds intertwined with this new version of the roars. You know, the setup is so good, man. It's like when Godzilla is brought back after being nuked, which, let's talk about that. you know, when I was in the movie and then all the stuff was happening, they were in the Hollow Earth, like that made sense. It connected to King Kong. It's a monster verse. There's stuff in the Earth, you know, like there's the Hollow Earth. That's where Godzilla is. Let's not talk about it was ancient civilization like Atlantis and all that stuff. That's some of the stuff I'm not really worried about. I'm not that picky about that kind of stuff. I know Ares. He just sighed so big. Just that's how I feel. So Godzilla's in there and he's healing. And Serizawa, there's a nuke that's messed up in the sub. And they're like, we can't shoot the nuke because someone's got to take it in there. Whoever goes in there's going to die. There's too much radiation in there. Serizawa says, I will go do it. In the theater at the moment when I was taking myself out and I was disconnected, I was like, there's no time for debate. That's what Serizawa said. No time for debate. You're going to die. And then it hit me. And this is something that maybe average moviegoers might not remember or might not realize, that Serizawa, literally the name, if you watch the original Godzilla movie or Gojira, whatever you want to call it, Dr. Serizawa made the oxygen destroyer in the original, which he knew if the world got a hold of, it'd be like the nukes, which Godzilla was not algorithm. I can't remember. He's supposed to be like homage, like Godzilla was the nuclear bombs that got dropped on Japan. Basically, the first Godzilla film to me is not even a monster movie. Back to topic. At the end of that film, Serizawa had been working on something that would absolutely probably kill Godzilla and probably kill most of the wildlife within a certain mile radius in the water. It's absolutely total annihilation. It's diabolical and terrible. And Serizawa, he knew. He was like, if this ever got in anyone's hands, I can't show anyone this because it's so terrible. He showed the one person he trusted, and she was shocked because of what it did to the wildlife in a fish tank. So at the end of that film, Serizawa goes down to where Godzilla is and sets off the oxygen destroyer and kills himself and Godzilla. He destroys all his research, no one else can have it. So it's a really cool touch, in my opinion. It's just a really cool connection that Serizawa killed himself to save the world. He took away some destruction. This Serizawa really connects with Godzilla and realizes he is the only option they have for true peace with these titans. And he goes and sets off a nuke and kills himself and saves Godzilla so he can save others. It was a really cool arc for him, a cool connection. It's just kind of shitty because it's like in a bad film. You know what I mean? And the thing about when I say a bad film, it's not terrible, but the writing and the tropes and the regular human characters, it's like, man, I just don't care. I don't. And it just falls off the rail. It's just super mediocre. The writing's bad. So there's bad jokes that aren't funny to me. I think if I have to give the film a rating, I'd probably say it's like a 6 out of 10. Because 5 is straight up average, and this movie is just for its pure spectacle is above average. 6. I mean, the CGI is obviously great. I mean, there's giant monsters. It has to be great, right? Speaking of the monsters, like I was saying, there's a fan in this. Like, King Ghidorah's an actual alien. They talk about it. King Ghidorah gets multiple heads ripped off during the film. That's funny. That's like how the other times we've seen him. He grows a head back. Like, it just grows back so fast. All the heads have personalities themselves, and they're biting at each other and doing stuff to each other. I laughed every time something was happening. You know, people were looking at me like, why is this guy laughing? I was like, I don't know. I just find that funny. Like, it's cool. You know, as a deep fan, it's like, that's a cool little trick, you know, or like, the little thing they did. Like, one of them was like eating a body, the other one snaps at him. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Pay attention. It makes sense to me. So, after all is said and done on that kind of stuff, they did King Ghidorah really well. I don't see how you can have King Ghidorah in this film, Rodan in this film, Mothra in this film, and Godzilla in this film. Not to mention these other monsters that are new. I don't see how you can have this film and have less fighting on screen. Like, there's more stuff happening for sure. Like, a lot more stuff. But it's just, I want you to see it. There's no payoff. I don't know how Godzilla even beat Ghidorah in the end. Like, they do a thing where after he gets nuked, he's gonna go nuclear. That's like Godzilla versus Destroyer, and they do the burning Godzilla thing. But then they also do the sacrifice of Mothra, and Mothra regenerates Godzilla. People were confused. They're like, I don't understand. Did Godzilla do that because Mothra's power? I would say no, because that's literally the nuclear burning Godzilla is literally what that was. Like, that's exactly what it was when Godzilla went absolutely nuclear and was going to melt down. It looked just like that. Except he didn't do giant pulses of energy, you know. I thought that was a little cheesy. Maybe like he did it like 3 times in a row, and I was like, "Come on, man!" Like, I want to see the fire breath. Like, he has like a really strong red fire beam in that form, and his fins start melting. But then he died. I mean, he literally burnt down and died in that movie way long ago. The Godzilla vs. Destroyer. That's probably one of the best Godzilla films out there. So I thought they were alluding to that. It looks like they're gonna do in the end, like I was gonna say about King Ghidorah, like he steps on King Ghidorah's chest, and I was just waiting for him to just blast the bejesus out of him. But instead he just steps on his chest and Ghidorah just blows up, I guess. Next time we see him, he's got King Ghidorah's whole head in his mouth, like a giant piece of spaghetti, and it's still alive. And it's still like doing stuff. And it's like, okay, what happened? Did the body explode and the head was trying to grow more and he ate it and blew it up and just disintegrated the rest? I don't know. I'm guessing the middle head, as long as it's intact, the rest of them can the rest of it can heal, is what I'm guessing, because he rips off one head at the beginning. It's one of the side heads, and the side head doesn't grow. They tossed it in Mexico or something like that. And it's at a scene at the very end. Tywin Lannister finds the King Ghidorah head, which I guess that alludes to they could do Mecha King Ghidorah, which in my opinion, I'm not the biggest fan of them doing a mecha unless it was like Mecha Godzilla. I think Mecha King Ghidorah seems like it'd be too much for me, which I think at this point, if they're going to put that, if they're going to take that plot point to the next film, which is going to be King Kong versus Godzilla, obviously King Kong versus Godzilla, because they mention it no more than 6 or 7 times. Skull Island, Kong. They mentioned at the very end cutscenes about everything happening around Skull Island. Like, if you didn't know we were doing King Kong versus Godzilla, it is going to happen. Here is a cave painting, just like all these other cave paintings, of King Kong versus Godzilla. Okay, in case you didn't know, King Kong vs. Godzilla is going to happen. If you did not notice any of these times we mentioned it. So, I think in that film, King Kong and Godzilla are going to fight each other. Then, like, Mecha King Ghidorah is going to come out, and then they're going to fight King Ghidorah, and then everybody's going to have a happy ending, you know? But, what I was saying is, I think it'd be really cool. King Ghidorah got hit with the oxygen destroyer, right? Him and Godzilla both got hit with the oxygen destroyer. King Ghidorah just flew out. And it didn't affect King Ghidorah as much because he wasn't just sitting there baking in it, you know what I mean? Like, Godzilla was like, oh, that's it, I'm done. King Ghidorah flew out, but in Godzilla vs. Destroyer, which is the film where Godzilla died and melted down, Destroyer mutated from the oxygen destroyer. Like, some organism survived and it wound up mutating. And then it became like basically a manifestation of that destruction. You know what I mean? Godzilla's the nuke monster. Destroyer was the oxygen destroyer monster. You know, basically, is the way I would, look at it. Destroyer was fucking cool, man. And that movie was, I mean, for its time, was super good for a Godzilla film. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the Japanese. For a fan, I don't see how you can not like Godzilla vs. Destroyer. So I think it'd be really cool if they did, which I hate this, but in Batman vs. Superman, they mutated Zod into Doomsday. That in itself is not cool. But I think it would be cool if you take this alien DNA from the Ghidorah head and mutate it into something else. Like humans doing stuff to it. I think that'd be really cool, actually. It's a little different than the Zod thing. I guess it's not actually different at all, but it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? These are just monsters that don't really have personalities, but it's a way you could put something else in where it wouldn't be a 3-headed dragon that's just metal. You know what I mean? It'd be some other mutated monster instead. I think that's a cool way to connect them. But damn, I'm ranting on. I'm ranting. Okay, I did enjoy Rodan's scene where he was spinning around. There is really cool spectacles, man. Like, there's really cool moments where Godzilla and King Ghidorah, they're doing some crazy stuff. But most of it's off screen, the actual fighting. I just want a little bit, I want some filler, man. You know what I mean? And I want my filler to be them fighting and not the humans. That's basically the end of it. This is about 25 minutes long already. So I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. My final verdict, like I said earlier, I think I said it earlier, is 6 out of 10 for this film. There's a lot of potential, man. And that's the worst to me. It'd be different if it was just bad. But when there's like a lot of potential, oh, it hurts so much worse for me. You know, it hits me deep down. I'm like, I just want it to be a little bit more, you know. I always want more. I think, you know, most of these movies shy away from, like, if there's a fight or there's like a conflict, the conflict never has a payoff very well. I think some films that did that really well, although they're both comic book movies, is Endgame and Civil War. The last fights in those films, let it breathe and let it go, you know, like, just let them do what they're gonna do. And I really like films like that, you know. You have your setup, you have your plots, you have your payoff. The payoff's what matters in these films. It's a spectacle film. Watch it in the loudest, biggest theater you can. Cause there's moments, dude, with that soundtrack is kicking in, like classic soundtrack, and Godzilla's there, and he's pissed off. I mean, you know, and then they just run at each other and they hit each other, a sonic wave. It's like, holy shit, just two titans going at it. And I'll say this, the first time Godzilla and King Ghidorah see each other, oh my God, I had chill bumps. I was literally sitting there and I was just like, I feel it, man, because King Ghidorah is massive. He's absolutely gargantuan. Like, he is insane how big this fucking thing is. And he stands up and he spreads his wings and stands all the way up vertical, and they do a side, like a pan, like a stretch shot or something like that from far away. And literally it's like, this is King Ghidorah and this would be Godzilla. Like, holy crap, how big is this thing? And then, like, King Ghidorah later on in the film picks Godzilla up and he's like choking him out and he drops him from fucking atmosphere. I mean, that stuff's cool, man. But we got no filler. Like I said, it's like, oh, that whole fight that I can remember at the end. Okay, Godzilla runs up, big sonic boom, boom. Okay, next thing I remember, Godzilla grabs a head and twists it and bites it. The other ones are biting him, and he's like smacking them off. Like, he's actually doing very well. The next thing that I remember, Mothra shows up. And Godzilla shoots him with some fire, I think, and he flies back on the ground. Or he steps back up, they're shooting lightning and stuff at each other. Godzilla gets knocked down. Next scene, Mothra shoots web on King Ghidorah's head to the building, and then you see Godzilla's reflection in the building walking towards him, and like the one head's trying to the other one's biting the heads, trying to get the webbing off, and all of a sudden it sees a reflection, turns around, it's like, you know, like that. And Godzilla just boom, just tackles him through the fucking building, and then it goes away again. And then next thing you know, Mothra's flying around, then Rodan grabs her, and they're doing this. Then you don't see him. Next time you see him, Mothra's all burnt the fuck up and is about to die. That's the next time you see him. Rodan's snapping at her. Mothra stabs him, and I thought she killed him. Like, she stabs her, like, I guess they're like right here, and you see it go through. And Rodan falls, and then she's all burnt and dying. The next scene is, I think Godzilla's beating up on Ghidorah, and Ghidorah bites a generator and gets all his superpower, like lightning's flying out of his fucking wings and tail, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff's fucking sick. It's just going crazy, you know? But but in between all that, that'd be really cool if that all happened at once in a sequence. This happened over like 35 minutes, folks. And that's what happened. There's not like a single punch. Like, there was a tail whip that was pretty cool. I take it back. Godzilla hit him a couple times and tail whipped him. And I was like, oh, shit. Then they cut away. I don't get to see you pay off for that. You know, he just whips him like, oh man, Godzilla just did a combo on him. He did a one string, and that's it, the whole film. He did a 3-hit string, and then that was the only thing we saw. The rest was just poking. Are you licking yourself on screen? Is that allowed? Aries, did you like Godzilla? You see his tail. Aries said Godzilla was good, so go watch Godzilla. I hope they do it right in the future. I'm so sad this film has so much chance and, you know, opportunity for big things, and it just didn't pay off as much as I wanted it to. But you know, it is what it is. This thing's 30 minutes long. I've ranted. If you wanted to rant on YouTube, that's what you got. Follow me at twitch.tv/I'mMrBigWatt so I can get 1080p 60 frames per second streams. That's all my goal is to be able to get affiliated on Twitch. I don't care about blowing up. I just want to be able to put out good content. So thanks for watching. If you watched all the way to this, I know it's a big old rant, and some people like that kind of stuff, some people don't. So give me thumbs up, give me thumbs down. Let me know what you thought. Like I said, my final thoughts is this is a disaster film with Godzilla in the background. That is how I describe this film to anyone that's watching. Characters live through a whole bunch of stuff they're not supposed to. And that's what that's what you want to see, stuff blowing up in rubble and actors running around. This is your cup of tea. But I think the Godzilla raises it. I would say it would be like a 4. I'd say it'd be a below average disaster film. But with Godzilla and all the monsters and stuff in it, some really cool moments. I did enjoy some moments. I give it a 6 out of 10. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.